What's up, everybody? I'm KJ Smith here with Joe Tipton, and welcome back to the N1 Show with KJ and Joe, presented by On3, your home for exclusive interviews with some of the most talented hoopers in the world, along with reactions to viral basketball news and moments trending on the web.
Today, we'd like to welcome in a very special guest out of Wisconsin, a four-star guard and future Tar Heel, Seth Trimble. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yes, sir. How are you guys?
We're doing good. We appreciate you doing this.
Of course.
Okay, so Seth, first question, and it might be the most important one on the podcast. Drake or Kanye's album?
See, I love both. Drake, I think I listen to more, but I think Kanye is definitely more of like a beautiful, just deep type of album. So if I had to choose one, I think I'd choose CLB just because, I've been a day one Drake fan. Same with Kanye, but I just ride with Drake way more.
Joe, what about you?
I'm with Drake. I'm rocking with Drake, 100%.
Yeah, I'm with Seth. Like, I listened to both. Somebody explained it to me perfect. They were like, look, Kanye is like a musical like masterpiece. Like Drake is like a one straight shooter. You know what you're getting with Drake. But Kanye is just an experience. That's what I think.
Right. For sure.
Yeah, no doubt. So Seth, what's your schedule like? Have you started school yet? What's your day to day? I'm sure it's different, from this past summer.
Oh yeah, my school schedule is I think I have 5 classes. So it's 3 one day, 2 the next day. One day I'll start school at 11:30. And then the next day I'll get off of school at, 1 something. So I get to work out in the morning and then work out right after school. So, I can still fit all my workouts that I did in the summertime, during the school season. So it's great.
And you have the same trainer like in the summertime? Does he come to school, or are you working out with your coaches? What's the deal with that?
I go to them. They're both 15, 20 minutes away from me. So, it's nothing too trouble.
Got you. So for those who don't know, there's a lot of Tar Heel fans that are on YouTube and, watching you play in EYBL games. How would you describe your game to them?
I think I'm an all-around point guard. Really just get it done both on the offensive end and the defensive end. Scoring-wise, call myself a 3-level scorer. Get to the basket more, but, I can really get it done on, every single level. So, I think that's pretty good, the explanation. Love the defensive end. Bouncy. Yeah, bouncy, super athletic guard. Runs in the family.
Facts. So do you think, your brother had a big, sway into you going to Carolina, or do you think it was like an afterthought?
No. He laid off all of my visits. He told me he was going to lay off. He's not going to persuade me to anything. But he told me when I step on the Chapel Hill, I'll know. And so that's like the only thing he told me, but that's really not even persuading. So he laid off, and he let me be me. He gave his personal opinions, of course, with everything, but that's really like the one thing he told me where I was like, oh, okay. But he was right. He was right.
So for those of people listening that aren't sure who you're referring to, JP Tokoto, when it comes to your recruitment, Seth, you step foot on, the campus at Chapel Hill, like your brother said, was it then when you realized that you wanted to be a Tar Heel? Did it come later? Did you know you wanted to go to North Carolina before you even visited? What was the process like in your mind figuring out where you wanted to go to school?
It was always down to, a good 3 options for me later in the process. And really my mindset was, I'll know when I know, I came into it, I didn't have a favorite. I was, open to everything and open to each school. But it was when I was on my Carolina visit where everything just came to me, and I just knew. I got that feeling. My brother said, he told me, I'll know when I know. And he said, I'll know when I step onto the campus. And I just knew. I didn't rush anything, but my plan was to always commit, before the summer ended. But luckily I got to commit right when the summer started.
Who was your host on your visit?
Pub Johnson and Justin McCoy.
Oh yeah, they took
They're
good care of
great.
you. Those are great dudes.
Yeah, no, they're
Great
great
dudes.
for sure. For sure.
Trust my God.
Did you ever
Yeah, I
think,
love them.
going through the process that you would end up anywhere else? Did you, think at one point, when you're in Ann Arbor, with Jawan Howard, did you think, oh, okay, I might be a Wolverine? Did any other school kind of cross your mind? Of course, you like other schools, you know what I mean? Because
Oh,
I remember you hit me up. You were planning on doing a top 5.
Yep.
I don't know who else is on it. Marquette, USC, maybe a couple other schools, but
Yep.
you only visited North Carolina and Michigan.
hmm
But what was it like? Did you ever think you'd end up anywhere else?
I mean, yeah, I didn't get my UNC until I can't even remember. I think it was April. I think it was April is when I got it. So, there was a good moment where, it was Michigan, Marquette, USC. Those 3 were really high for me when I didn't have UNC. So, it was really between those 3. I always told myself, where could I see myself out of those 3? Or, just who was my favorite. But, it all changed when Carolina came, of course. But, I mean, there was a really good moment in time when, UNC wasn't even in mind because didn't have the offer or anything,
Did the Jordans have anything to do with them? Would you have went to
Nah,
like a Nike
I
or
didn't think
something?
about it till after. I really didn't think about it till after, and that made me even more geeked.
This is my suggestion to you because I messed up. Like every time I got a pair of retros, we'd get the off-white, like off-whites, the 5s, all these ones that
Yeah.
people aren't even getting, and I would just wear them. Like I would wear them to a football game, and then there was people
That's
who,
something I would.
yeah, exactly. But I'm telling you, it's like a stock. Honestly, if you keep them like fresh in the box, like okay, keep a couple, but like,
Mhm.
and even playing shoes, like keep a couple playing shoes, and the rest, if you just have them on ice in your locker, like this, like it'll be worth so much later after you graduate. Like I'm
Right.
telling you,
Right.
that's
Oh yeah,
that's
I
the one
know.
thing I wish I would have
My
did.
brother told me that too.
Yeah,
Yeah, my brother that he kept, or well, he didn't wear a lot of his, but yeah, I feel like I might be the opposite. I just gotta control myself.
yeah, it's hard.
KJ, how many shoes
Oh, I
do you think
bet.
you got throughout your time in North Carolina, like besides playing shoes, like the hype ones, like the off-whites?
I think we might have got with between retros, we got 2 retros every year, so that's 8. But I probably had over 60 pairs of shoes. It was so much where I grabbed when I was leaving, my locker was like overflowing. I grabbed as much stuff as I could and just sent it back home. And it was like $400 to ship home. And I left and I was like, you could have like, I'm just gonna leave the rest because they're all beat up.
Right.
My
Right.
friends came into my locker. My dad's AU team, they got to go on a tour of the Smith Center. And they're like, yeah, this is
Uh huh.
KJ's locker. And I wasn't there. And they're like, yeah, this is KJ's locker. And they were still like, wow, you have so much shoes. Like still after I, stuffed it with bunches of boxes. So you're going
Right.
to have so
Right.
much shoes. Yeah, like you're going to be dripped
Oh
out for
yeah.
sure. You're going to have nothing to worry about.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
KJ, what would you say your favorite pair of shoes? Maybe not value-wise, maybe the off-whites were probably the most,
Yeah.
worthy, but what was your just favorite all-time that you got?
So I think the moment with the story, like the moment with the shoe kind of is more for me. So we had Coach Williams every game used to wear a different pair of retros and have no clue what they like were, or he would just show up to us and be like, are these cool? And be like, yes. So he had a pair of 5s that didn't come out yet. Um and then he came into the locker room and everybody was like, oh no, it was Travis Scott 4s. That's what it was. And then so he came into the
Oh.
locker room, everybody was like going crazy. And he was like, oh, you guys like these? And we were like, yes. He's like, all right, win this game tonight and I'll get you these. And then you see like the PR person and like the Jordan guy like shaking their head like there's no, like, no, we can't do that. And he's like, no, I don't care what he says. Like I'm gonna call Jordan personally and I'm gonna get him. So we win the game in
Right.
overtime. And then the next week they come in after a practice, they're like, yo, we have a team meeting. Like everybody thinks we're in trouble. Hoots comes in, wheeling in 20 pairs of shoes. Like everybody got them. The managers, all Travis Scott's. We were going crazy.
Oh, that's dope.
So like stuff like
That's
that,
dope.
you can't
Those have
price
been
on,
one of
This is crazy, crazy.
yeah.
Memories.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh.
Yeah, that's one thing I'll miss is seeing Coach Roy wearing those Jordans because it doesn't match, this old guy wearing
Yeah.
these hip shoes, but it was always like fun to see he would always turn up
Right.
social media because people would see him and he would always blow it up. But obviously you got a new head coach, Hubert Davis. Seth, how well have you gotten to know him? And what are your initial impressions so far with him?
I mean, I've gotten to know Coach super well. I love him. My first thoughts of him were, I never had any doubt in him that he could pick up right where it left off. And he's, a really experienced guy. He's been with ESPN, been in the NBA for how long? He chose when he left. I just think he's been under Coach Roy's wing for, however many years. So, I mean, my first initial thoughts of him were, it's one of the best already. I know he doesn't have the stats as a head coach to prove it, but that's just, what I really firmly believe because, of everything that he's been through or, the people that he's had to guide him through this or support him. So, I have 100% faith in Coach Hubert for sure.
Well, one thing you can say about him is that he's a great recruiter because, just today you guys got Tyler Nickel. Your class is now stacked with Will Shaver and Jalen Washington and yourself. How confident do you feel in the class that you have now with this commitment today?
Oh, super confident. I feel like we'll all just keep getting better and better, build a better relationship with each other. Hopefully get to see each other out in Carolina at some point this year. I'm 100% confident in this group. I feel like we're one of the best in the nation. And, what we really put our mind to, I feel like we can really get done.
Seth, would you say, there's a couple other kids, still considering North Carolina for the class of 2022, Derek Lively, Cam Whitmore. Who was the other, KJ?
Sorry, let me look right now.
But, speaking of those, guys, I know you've already gotten a couple, big men, Will Shaver, Jalen Washington. Do you think the Tar Heels still have a chance at getting, Derek Lively? Do you think that's still a possibility, or do you think it's more of a, Kentucky, dare I say Duke, type of battle?
I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't got too heavily, into the recruiting. I've talked to Coach Hubert and Coach Brad a lot about Tyler or Cam because, they cut down their list short. But, I haven't talked, a lot about Derek. I know he's a great player, played against him, watched him play in Peach Jam. But, I haven't really talked much about that. I guess I'm kind of curious myself as, to your question.
Are you helping recruit at all?
Oh, for sure. I'll talk to Coach Brad or to Coach Hubert, see the thoughts on their players, see how they feel, and then go from there.
So obviously we've seen the new legislation with the NCAA pass that allows athletes to profit off their name, image, and likeness. You have players on your team who have already, signed major deals at UNC. That being said, how do you feel about this new rule change? And are you doing anything now? Or are you waiting till college? Or are you waiting till the next level after that? What's your plans?
I think it's a really good chance for, players to finally be able to do something and just do something great off of their name. I haven't done anything yet. I've had a few people or a few companies or brands reach out to me. But, right now I've really just stayed focused on what I need to do, talk to my parents about it. That's not our biggest concern right now. But, when we know when I get to UNC that probably pick up heavier. But my mom's actually taking an NIL class right now. So they're getting really prepared on it. And, just I'm excited for it. I won't let it distract me, of course. That'll be, definitely not the first thing I worry about. But I think it'll be a good thing for a good opportunity for a lot of players. Sure.
Do you have any concerns with it at all? A lot of people bash it, in regard to, it's going to cause locker room drama. Some players are going to make more money than others. Obviously you haven't, been able to dive into, that experience yet, in the locker room at North Carolina, but, being, experiencing the fact of, having teammates, do you think, that it'll all work out, or do you have any concerns personally as well?
I haven't even thought of like team concerns like that. So that's a good question. I mean, I have thought about, what if this NIL, takes over a player's mind too much and they, lose track of what they're supposed to do and, what they're supposed to get done. Like, I thought about that, but I haven't thought too heavily about, if it could affect the team or, players or, but I haven't thought about that. I think it definitely could if, it goes down the wrong path, but yeah, I haven't thought. That's a good question.
Well, I'm gonna tell you.
For sure. I haven't thought.
I'm gonna tell you a quote that before even NIL was a thing, because there was a lot of players like we're Carolina, so we got guys who are always thinking about the draft their first year, and he would always say this: look, if you take care of the basketball, everything else will take care of itself. So if you guys produce, if you guys win, more endorsement deals are gonna come anyway. The whole team will be on a commercial, stuff like that. So, I mean, as long as you guys put the basketball first, you be a leader in the locker room and let everybody know that. And that's going to be on you because you're the point guard. I think you guys will be successful.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's the plan. Always basketball first. Just never let that NIL take anything away.
KJ, I got a question for you. Speaking about, Coach Roy's retirement, a lot of people, they said, oh, it's because of age. Oh, it's because all these, the transfer rule or, players going one and done, like in your experience and being tied so tightly with North Carolina, did he express to you all, why he would be retiring? Or if he didn't, what is your assumption as to why?
He did. And it wasn't because he didn't think he could do it anymore. And it wasn't because he didn't care. Or he wasn't passionate enough. It for sure wasn't those reasons. The reason he thought he needed to retire was because he wasn't the right man for the job anymore. That's what he thought in his own mind. So, he thought somebody else was more fitting, and that person was Coach Davis. So, I mean, a lot of people, it takes a lot to do that, to step down and, you're in such a position of power. You've accomplished so much just to not give it all away, but just take a step back and say, wow, this is my career. I accomplished all I need to accomplish. And for the sake of the program, I need to appoint somebody else to take it to new heights. So, that's what his decision was.
Yeah, that makes sense. So how, like for me, I had no clue it was coming. Like, did y'all have an idea? Did he tell you 2 weeks prior? Did he tell you before the last season started? Like, when did you all know?
Seth and Joe, I kid you not, I was sleeping. The season was over and it was April 1st. I was at my girlfriend at the time's house. I wake up, I get a call like, yo, we have a Zoom. Like, it's really big. I'm like, no, we don't. I hang up. Then I get a call from like coaches now, like, yo, you need to get on this Zoom. Everybody's on the Zoom. So I was like, okay, I get on the Zoom. And then, coach is saying, he's like in tears, like, guys, I'm retiring. Mind you, it's April Fool's Day.
Right.
So I'm thinking it's a joke. Like, I'm like, all right, they got us. At some point he's gonna say it's a joke. And then, I didn't really believe it until they were like, yeah, and there's press gonna be here at 12 p.m. like, and the whole Staples Center, the whole Smith Center was packed, and he was retiring. Like, it was unbelievable. We found out that day.
That's
and
crazy.
He told the staff that day as well. He told everybody on one day.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts on April Fool's Day.
What a horrible day to announce it on, though, because I remember like reading comments, like everybody thought it was a joke, like all the Carolina fans, like they didn't believe it. Like, there's no way this is real.
Yeah. I remember Armando had to tweet out like, this is not a joke. It was like nobody believed, it was nuts. It was absolutely
Did he intentionally do that? Or
no, I mean, he didn't intentionally do it, but people really just were hitting him up like, so many people were texting us, and it was just, he wanted to just put a statement out, and he had the like biggest statement out of everybody.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Well, let me ask you this, KJ, then, in regard, and I can get your, comment on it as well, Seth. Coach Roy, he announces he's retiring. He doesn't do, a farewell tour, like the rival Duke. A lot of, especially North Carolina fans, would say, oh, he just wants it, for his pride, like when, got like, for example, Dirk, Kobe, God rest his soul, the last time being in this particular arena or wherever else. What are y'all's thoughts on, Coach K, not just retiring like Coach Roy, saying this will be my final year?
I think personally, I think it's really cool because now all the fans can appreciate and know that this is their last time seeing Coach K. It drives up ticket sales. The fans are going to be even louder. And Stadium is going to be the loudest stadium that each player goes to this year. You're absolutely nuts. Like you're going to be able to be in Chapel Hill and hear a Duke game going on. I think it's a great idea, honestly. I mean, what do you think, Seth?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think that was a really good idea. A farewell tour. I mean, it's just amazing. His fan base, it gives him a really good opportunity. Just really get a good goodbye. I mean, just off of what you were saying. There's going to be a lot of people. Well, kind of like with Roy, I'm sure there would have been a lot of people who would have loved to see him, in the Dean Smith Center one last time, or who would have loved to know. I just think it'll be a really good experience for Coach K and his fan base.
Yeah, 100%.
Seth, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you.
Oh, for sure. Thank you. Thank you, guys. This is great. Really fun.
Yeah, man, we appreciate your time. Best of luck, with your senior year, at North Carolina as well. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode with North Carolina commit Seth Trimble, please leave us a like, a review, and please subscribe. Thanks again, Seth. We appreciate you, man. Good luck.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Go Heels.
Go Heels.